Hey, it's Ed here. I want to talk about housing today, and you wonder why I'm talking about housing when my focus is on building software for those struggling with addiction and mental illness and chronic diseases, because so many people end up on the street and because they can't afford a place to live, and now they're struggling with homelessness and the pain of being on the street. They start self-medicating, and it's a vicious cycle. And unfortunately, we can't build enough houses right now to keep up with the market. According to the Builders Association, we build about 900,000 houses a year, and we need about 1.3 million. And right now we have like 7 million people in low-income housing, and that number is growing. And the reason it's growing is because of affordability. I used to work for a builder who built residential houses. When I started there about 30 months ago, a house, the 1,200 square foot house, was $169,000. Today, that same house is $239,000. And that pushes that price up. $2,300 a month is what the actual average price increase has happened over the last 30 months. You look at that in monthly payments. So when it started, interest rates were about 3.75% interest. That house was, your house payment would be about $1,000. Today, interest rates are at 4.4%. and that house costing $239,000, your payment's going to be $1,556. Now, who can afford that big of a jump? We've pushed out about a third of those who need homes or want to buy homes, and now they have to go to the rental market. Well, we don't have enough rentals. We don't have enough houses we're building, so we need to shift how we're building houses. The other big problem is labor. We don't have enough trades out there to build the number of houses that we need. So we have to shift how we build houses. Henry Ford came out with the automobile 100 years ago or so. And the biggest problem 100 years ago was in New York City. What are they going to do with all the horse manure that was literally piling up all over the place? Because everybody had a horse. And, stagecoaches, wagons, horses, horse manure was literally everywhere. Well, they couldn't figure out how to solve that problem. Well, along came Henry Ford. He built the automobile, and the production line created the automobiles. And the problem of needing a place to put all that horse manure solved itself because we stopped using horses. Doesn't mean we're going to stop using houses, but we need to move to a production model instead of building every single house on site. We need to move to where you shop, you go to a storefront, pick out all the options you want for your house. They fly a drone over the site where a house is going to be built so you can see exactly where it's going to be built. They can circle around and you're nice, warm, and dry. Now builders are competing for your business. And you're at a mall, you can go from store to store, figure out, just like a car lot, which model do I want? What features do I want? Now they build it as a modular. Instead of taking 6 months on average to build a house, I bet we could get that down to 6 weeks. And then we could begin to catch up. But now we have a production line, so we've increased the quality of the home we're building. We've increased the speed in which we can build those homes. We've reduced the cost because we're doing it in a production fashion. Instead of sending laborers out to build a house, they build it right on site, and they can build 3 or 4 houses a day, where now it takes them 3 days to frame a house. Imagine the cost savings to the builder. So now we've gone back from that $239,000 house, maybe back down to a $200,000 house, and now it becomes affordable. Speed to get that house built. Now we can actually start having investors build rental homes. So now the investors are jumping in the game, and they may buy 5, 6 rentals where they could only afford to build 2 or 3 rentals every year. Now we've changed the game. We do the same thing with apartment complexes. Apartment complexes don't need to be built custom on site. Heck, we know what they're going to look like before we start building. Let's build them in a factory, build them out, drag all that material out there, assemble it just like they do. I mean, there's a lot of builders out there that build modular homes. Let's change the construction industry so everything is modular. And if we don't do this, we're not going to ever catch up, because we're not training the people how to build houses. We don't have enough electricians, framers, concrete guys, drywallers, tapers, painters, you name it. We don't have enough of any of those. And each one of those becomes a bottleneck. That's why it takes so long to build a house. So until we solve this problem, we're going to continue to have housing problems, driving people out on the street. Now they become drug addicts because they're in pain and they're homeless, they're cold, they're freezing, their self-esteem, they're now trying to self-medicate. So it's a vicious cycle, and we need to solve it, and we need to look at the problem with horse manure and how to solve the problem with too much horse manure. We have too many people on the street. We need to solve that. How do you solve that? Build affordable homes. We don't need a 2,000 square foot house. What if we had a 600 square foot house or a 400 square foot house? What would that cost? We could build 4 times the amount of houses on the same lot if they were smaller. Now, not everybody's going to want to be all crammed together, but the reality is you're getting people in a house, a roof over their head, and a place to live.